Da-da-da-da-da-da. Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Can he swing from a web? Look out, here comes the Spider-Man. If you've been around any form of media in the last 20 years, you know Spider-Man. You know the look, his secret identity, maybe a girlfriend or two, and probably a couple villains. But Spider-Man has endured for over 60 years now, in all forms of different iterations, media forms, and storylines. Some of our crew will always go to the original Spider-Man comics, which relied heavily on the secret identity idea and the adventure aspect of Spider-Man stories. Personally, probably my first introduction to Spider-Man would be the animated series from the late 90s, which then led to watching the Spider-Man movies and then the Ultimate Spider-Man comic books. No matter how you got there, Spider-Man still endures as a captivating character, representing the fight against evil, the upstanding citizen, a rebel for good, and a symbol of virtuous and innocent good. In a world full of gray and befuddlement, it's nice that Spider-Man can be complex, but still be a force of good against evil. With that in mind, Spider-Man's had a ton of f***ing movies, so we're gonna break down the top 10 Spider-Man movies of all time. Let's get started.
10.
10.
Number 10, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Yeah, this is the worst one. The effects are really good, probably the best part of the whole movie. Gwen's death was incredibly well constructed and well filmed. The rest is just lame. Lame with a capital L. The most standard of modern superhero writing, as well as superhero cliche, brings this movie to a boring halt. If it were not for Andrew Garfield and some other highlights, it would be a completely forgettable movie. 3 out of 10, skip.
9.
9.
At number 9, Spider-Man 3. This is definitely the Rocky 3 of this series. Totally mismanaged and misguided, Spider-Man 3 remains a bad example of studio meddling and a conglomeration of good and bad ideas. The Sandman stuff, good idea. The Venom costume design, bad idea. Peter and Harry's stuff in the movie, good idea. James Franco's acting, bad idea. Hindsight, stuff like the Toby dance and Emo Maguire are fun and have become iconic. However, it can really take you out of a movie and make it all so stupid. It's not an inherently bad movie, it's just really disappointing given what happened in Spider-Man and Spider-Man 2. 4 out of 10.
8.
Number 8, The Amazing Spider-Man. The first time they tried to reboot Spider-Man, Sony approached the Spider-Man IP in a very prototypical way. Visually and aesthetically, it appears just as your average superhero movie, particularly your average superhero origin story. It lays out all the groundwork. You've got the older villain who becomes powerful along with Peter Parker. Peter's got a love interest, he's gotta fight the guy, yada yada yada. The web swinging's great, the effects are very good, particularly compared to the Tobey Maguire movies. Points for giving Peter actual web shooters and not ones that come out of his f***ing veins. Also, Andrew Garfield is a good Spider-Man. Not Peter Parker though. He looks too good. He looks like a Calvin Klein model, not some dork who saves the city. The negatives are in the basic plot, with no memorable characters and character moments that feel forced or tacked on. 5 out of 10, whatever.
6.
6! What happened to 7?
Just kidding.
7.
7!
At number 7, Spider-Man No Way Home. The biggest, most overrated movie in MCU history. We don't care. Go ahead. Oh yeah, it was the biggest movie of all time. The best Spider-Man movie of all time. All that crap just for these two jabronis to show up behind a green screen so that they could get keyed into whatever scene they're needed in. Oh, by the way, the only good scene with the Spider-Man lasts about 3 minutes, and then the rest of it is just them fighting other CGI people. F*** you. The movie's fun sometimes. Aunt May's death was surprising. However, the biggest issue this movie has is a lack of narrative thrust and build-up. The Aunt May death, while sudden and unexpected, was also not built up properly and felt misplaced. The climax doesn't feel like an actual story climax, but rather an excuse to get all these characters together. It was like a little boy taking all his toys together and making a movie in his head. And then Spider-Man's gonna show up, but then another another Spider-Man shows up and they have to fight the Green Goblin. But then Hulk fights Spider-Man and Goku fights all of them because he's the bestest. 5 out of 10. At 305 Film Studios, we stand firm as unapologetic haters of this movie.
I hate you, I hate you, I don't even know you, and I hate your guts. I hope all the bad things in life happen to you and nobody else but you.
6.
Number 6, Spider-Man Far From Home. Not sure why Far From Home gets hate online, maybe because it's seen as quote-unquote mid or not exciting, but to us, it's just a nicely compact story that has great impact and good character stuff for Peter here. After the events of Avengers Endgame, Far From Home may not capitalize on all the narrative potential post-Endgame, but it does a great job of taking the macro and focusing on the micro. Act 1, where they showed how the school was and how people reacted to the snap, was some of the best world building the MCU has ever done. Then, to take all that stuff and hone in on how Peter felt about Tony's death was very well constructed. It's just a great adventure movie that provides interesting action sequences, particularly the stuff with Mysterio, while still having good character moments. Look, it doesn't have the story of like a Godfather or something like that, and it doesn't have crazy visuals or sexy camera moves. Sometimes you just want to watch the Marvel equivalent of an Indiana Jones movie, and this is it. 7 out of 10. Before we get to number 5, please be sure to web swing over to that like button and subscribe for more amazing content. Get it? Because amazing Spider-Man, the webs, never mind.
5.
5.
5.
Well, not in Paris. 5.
Number 5, Spider-Man Homecoming. Somehow, Spider-Man Homecoming became the best Spider-Man movie with Tom Holland, at least for now. It's weird given it's the first one and given what the trilogy offers later on. However, Homecoming is just so effortlessly simple and it makes for a really enjoyable experience. No multiverse stuff, not a ton of stuff that connects to other movies. The other movies kind of act as solid world building for young Peter Parker to dive into and carve out his own story. It's not laugh out loud funny, but it's got some cute moments. This is Zendaya's most annoying performance in the Spider-Man movies. Thank God her character changed. Peter and Ned are a fantastic duo. The Vulture stuff is really well constructed too. It's a movie that doesn't go for really big swings, but has little to no holes in it. A really great watch, 8 out of 10.
4. 4.
4.
At number 4, Spider-Man. Just a supremely fun and solid movie. Spider-Man 2002 perfectly presents Peter Parker, the Spider-Man world, and the challenges Peter faces, including wanting to get with Bring It On Girl, dealing with his friend Pineapple Express, and Lighthouse Guy chasing after him. The movie is very fun and presents a great amount of camp. Yeah, people turning into bones after an explosion is pretty kooky, but in a Sam Raimi world, it works. What's never worked are the webs shooting out of his hands. That's still just weird to me. Very good performances, memorable scenes, and good memes. 8 out of 10, great stuff.
I'm going to count to 3.
3.
3.
Number 3, Spider-Man 2. The best Spider-Man movie of all time before the animated movies came out. Where Spider-Man built the world and set up the things to come, Spider-Man 2 matured the story and escalated the stakes. Sure, you still had fun moments here and there, but Spider-Man 2 was a much more serious and melodramatic story in ways that were perfect for Spider-Man. While Willem Dafoe's performance as Green Goblin is great, Alfred Molina strikes that perfect balance of making Doc Ock feel like a real person while still being a fantastic supervillain, unlike Dafoe, who just has a lot of fun with the Norman Osborn character. Perhaps this movie could have used a bit more Sam Raimi camp, especially given the prior movie, but there are still plenty of fun and memeable bits here. Some of the CGI looks a bit dated. Outside of some minor stuff, there really aren't any problems with the movie. It just isn't super exceptional. 8 out of 10, really great movie.
2.
2.
2.
2.
2.
2.
At number 2, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse lives up to the hype it has around it, but somehow disappoints. It's kind of like 2001: A Space Odyssey, in that 2001 was such a technical marvel that truly pushed the bounds of what a film could do, but lacked in certain aspects. 2001 lacked a cohesive story and some character stuff. Across the Spider-Verse takes the trend set by Into the Spider-Verse and improves on it. The visuals are truly insane in this one, so many layers of different art styles while still holding the form and techniques of a film. There's so much to dive into about the colors blending into the background, the characters affecting the background, etc. But then the film has these plot holes and story weaknesses that weaken the experience. It's a movie that everyone needs to see, but it may not be enjoyed by all. A lot of action, a lot of movement, but it can get tiring or not connect at times. 9 out of 10 still, a great movie, but a flawed and complicated one. Before we get to number 1, here are the honorable mentions. Spider-Man 1977, Japanese Spider-Man, Spider-Man Strikes Back, and Spider-Man The Dragon's Challenge. Listen, we're sure these movies have a lot of fun and a lot of camp. We've never seen them. Will we ever? Probably not. They look like ass. We're sure Japanese Spider-Man has its moments, but this all just seems skippable, unlike our number 1 pick.
Alright, ready? One.
One.
At number 1, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The actual best Spider-Man movie, not the best Peter Parker movie, but the best movie about what Spider-Man is. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse perfectly marries the mood of the best Spider-Man comics and a style befitting the 80s era comics, but still being fresh and fast enough for modern audiences. It sticks the landing on introducing everyone to Miles Morales, utilizing Peter Parker perfectly as the Obi-Wan to his Luke. It sounds great, it looks great, it feels great. Could Across the Spider-Verse swap with this one in the future? Perhaps, but as it stands, the character stuff in Across is hollow and incomplete. Into the Spider-Verse is a concise story with heartwarming moments, and while it may not reach for the visual heights of Across, it still delivers on that front. 9 out of 10 exceptional stuff. It'll be interesting to see how the next Spider-Verse movie deals with the events of Across the Spider-Verse. With all that said though, we're still waiting on the next Tom Holland Spider-Man movie. Will he just get slotted into the next Avengers movie and that'll be it? Will Tom Holland actually act again? That was a question that popped up on Twitter for a day or so. Will Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield return? Probably not, given all the rights bullshit that's been happening between Sony and MCU. Oh yeah, they're also doing that Kraven movie, aren't they? Boy, these universes are so confusing. If only they just made singular movies and shows that didn't need a semester's course of lore in order to understand what the is happening. Welcome to the modern MCU, I guess. That'll do it for this video, folks. Thank you very much for watching. Don't rip us too much in the comments, but please let us know what your thoughts are on this video and if you have any ideas for future videos in the comments. For more top 10s like this, please subscribe and check out some of the older top 10s as well. Thanks again and have a wonderful day.